Our third video looks at applications for robotics and AI, some good, some bad, and speculates about the future possibilities. First application we're looking at is for driverless vehicles. These are already being experimented with in terms of cars, in terms of trucks, trains, possibly even aeroplanes. In this scene, we see a businessman relaxing, reading a book. He's not looking around him, not paying attention to the road ahead because he is not the driver. And the immediate thought we have perhaps is for issues of AI and safety. What would happen if there was an accident? Who would be liable in that situation? Here we see a policeman stopping a driverless car. The offense is being guilty of absent driving. Well, of course, usually there would be a passenger in the car, one suspects. But this again raises new questions for us about AI and accidents. Who's liable in this situation? Who's going to pay? The owner of the car? The owner of the software and the vehicle? One suggestion that's been put forward for legal change is that all driverless vehicles should have an RIN, a bit like the VIN number in existing vehicles. This time it's called a robot identification number. Here we see a driverless train, again raising the question, should it have a robot identification number? It also raises an issue that's being discussed widely. How transparent is the software on AI systems, so that in case of emergency there could be action taken to unscramble any locks or problems with the software in an accident scene. Here we get more controversial. The driverless school bus, which was proposed in parts of Florida, raises questions of cost-benefit. Is it better to have a driverless car and save the money on the cost of the driver, or have the driver there to secure personal safety? Again, it raises questions of software transparency in the case of an accident, and bigger issues of ethics as to what's a life worth, especially the life of a child in this case. Further issues we would need to think about: insurance. How do you insure a driverless vehicle, and for what? When we think of driverless vehicles, we're clearly beginning to move into legal concerns about robotics and AI, as well as ethical ones. One of the issues that's been raised, of course, is whether a robot is a thing or an electronic personality. That has to be worked out, as does liability for any harm that is done, a whole review of manufacturer's insurance, product liability, for instance. And as mentioned, perhaps we need some specific robot identification numbers to track down who is in control of the software. And certainly transparency of software systems and AI is really important. Another application for AI that is growing is, of course, the personal assistant. Here we see Alexa, Amazon Echo, little tube reflecting that new version of Alexa. Now, the benefits are clearly there. We have educational opportunities to interact with personal assistants. We have entertainment opportunities, and these are all good things. Here's Cortana, another personal assistant.
How can I help you?
This all seems pretty benign. Here's Siri. Hey Siri. And Siri replies,
What can I help you with?
Almost unlimited access to encyclopedic knowledge. So what's the downside of all this? Well, one downside is what the impact might be on human interaction. We're increasingly involved with time online. One survey recently says millennials are spending between 7 and 8 hours consulting online social media, internet websites. And we've already seen how online addiction is reducing face-to-face relationships. There are fears that people might be unable in the future to adequately interact with their fellow humans. And clearly when tragedies occur, we're already seeing this home movie experience where social media postings are tending to desensitize human responses to crisis. So some of the pitfalls of online interactions, personal assistants, would be privacy. How far is the system tracking you, listening in, following what you're doing as you find out what information, services and entertainment is available on your personal assistant? Google and Facebook are encountering privacy questions. There are hearings going on at the moment where the issue of hidden trackers, personal data profiles, and the use of personal data are all being investigated. A recent survey indicated that 75% plus of websites have Google trackers following your online searches, your interests, history, purchases, browsing, and location. And the question would be, well, what's wrong with that? And the answer might be that there is invasive advertising that is targeting you and structuring your searches, maybe influencing your opinion, as well as the privacy issues surrounding AI and healthcare, your electronic records, and of course all the medical issues. Medical technology and AI play a big part in the fourth industrial revolution. But you'll have to wait to see that in the next video. By the way, I haven't forgotten the bunny. Really.